Docker is everywhere. Companies and developers love using it. There is one question that confuses most beginners. Is Docker a virtual machine? The answer is no. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Docker is faster, lighter, and completely different from a virtual machine. If you've ever used software like VirtualBox or VMware, you've already worked with virtual machines. Docker might seem similar to VMs. Both can package software. Let's find the difference between Docker and VMs. Before we start comparing, what actually is a virtual machine? Imagine that your computer is a house. A virtual machine is like creating a new house inside your house. The new house needs its own walls, plumbing, electricity, and mostly everything. In a computer's terms, a virtual machine has its own kernel, system files, drivers, and your application. Since it's a complete operating system, it requires a lot of storage, memory, and CPU power. This makes virtual machines quite heavy. Notice how much stuff exists between the application and the hardware. Docker takes a different approach. Instead of creating a new operating system, Docker shares the host's computer operating system. Think of it like building a room inside your house instead of creating a separate house. The room has its own space, furniture, but it shares the same foundation and utilities. That's how Docker containers work. Containers package only what's necessary to run the application. Notice what's missing. There's no extra operating system for every container. That's one of the biggest reasons why Docker is so efficient. Before we continue, pause for a second. Which starts faster, a virtual machine or a Docker container? Leave your guess in the comments. Now let's compare them side by side. Virtual machines need resources to run an operating system. Docker containers only need applications and its dependencies. So containers use less RAM, storage, start much faster, and allow more applications to run on the same machine. You might only have a few virtual machines on a laptop, but you can run dozens of containers. So now let's do an actual test. On one side, we'll start a virtual machine. On the other side, we'll start a Docker container. The virtual machine has to boot an entire system. It loads services, drivers, system processes, and everything else. Docker skips all of that. It shares the host operating system and can start almost instantly. This is one of the reasons why Docker has become so popular for development and deployment. You might think that Docker completely replaces virtual machines. Not exactly. Virtual machines are still useful when you need different operating systems, stronger isolation, legacy software, or complete system testing. Docker is usually better when you have fast deployments, efficient resource usage, development environments, microservices, and cloud applications. The reality is that both tools have their own uses. So, what's the big difference? Virtual machines virtualize an entire computer. Docker virtualizes applications. That's why containers are lighter, faster, and more efficient. If this video helped you finally understand the difference between Docker and virtual machines, give it a like. Subscribe to CoderBryan for more beginner-friendly Docker tutorials. And in the next video, we'll run our first real Docker container and start exploring Docker commands. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.